It's been a while since Palia has publicly announced a closed testing session, with the first happening way back in February of 2022, and the most recent being in November of that same year. Each of these tests had different goals, and 1 week from now, there will be yet another closed test. This video is going to quickly go over the whys and whens of previous closed alpha tests, and also the whys and hows of the next one, as well as how to sign up for future tests. I would like to start by saying two things. First, all of the tests so far, and the ones coming up, are under NDA. That means no gameplay can be shown, and the people who are in them are not allowed to talk about or express their experiences in the game. Second, I have not participated in any of these tests, nor was I invited to this one, so I have no secret information that I can share about them. Everything that I say will come from public information. Okay, let's jump into it. At this point, it's been over half a year since the last alpha test, which was called the weekend test, because it was like 3 or 4 days long. So why are we having one now? And why is it still an alpha test? I think to answer these questions, we should look back at Alpha 1 first, way back in February of 2022. At that time, the tests were a month long and were held with members of the community, with some on Discord getting preferential treatment. So, meh. The team held the test looking for information about the general feel of the game, if cooperative gameplay and adventures were fun for players, if crafting and decorating allowed players to properly express themselves. Notice they didn't ask if crafting was fun. Why not? If villagers were fun to interact with, and if the servers could hold up to a general player count over time. We don't actually know the answers to these questions at all, although for all of the tests, general player feedback seems to have been quite positive. This leads us to the second month-long alpha, held in July of 2022. With this test, all of the Alpha 1 testers returned, plus a new group of players, for what was dubbed Alpha 2. The test this time was less focused on the general feel of the game and more focused on new player experience and the early game gameplay, specifically testing whether it worked as intended without harming the overall feel of the gameplay and exploration. On top of this, they also tested out the cash shop, because of course they did, and again, everything sounds like it went quite well. Finally, in November 2022, a weekend test running from Thursday to Sunday was held with an entirely new group of players. Unlike the previous tests, this one was held over only a short time, and in these few days, the team hoped to gain information on new player experience, including tutorials and exploration, whether the story drew players in properly, if player skills were fun and intuitive, and if the controls were enjoyable. This is the last alpha test that happened. So now we can talk about the next one and how you can try to join future alpha tests. On May 25th, 2023, a whole week from this video, the first of several short tests for Palia in alpha will be held, with the main focus of the first one being on testing server capabilities. This is something that's very important for an MMO that is hoping to not have a server selection at launch and is a free-to-play game, so it should have more people in than some other games. Given the duration of this test, the first one being 1 day long, it's safe to assume that the only real major goal that the team has for this one is to see how the servers react to having as many players crammed in simultaneously as possible, since, games tend to break under those conditions and servers tend to melt. By making the tests only 1 day long, it basically guarantees that all the testers are going to be playing at about the same time, unlike a month-long test where players might stagger a lot more. Okay, but who got into this test? Well, according to the blog they released, anyone who was in the previous tests was invited, and some new players were also brought on board for this wave of testing. You can check your email for a message from welcome@palia.com if you want to see if you got in. If you want to sign up for future tests, you can do so by going to palia.com, clicking the sign up button, and filling out the survey that appears afterwards. That survey button seems to appear on both Firefox and Chrome now. In the past, it didn't work on Firefox. With this, I'm hoping that those past issues have been resolved. And that's all for this video. If you got into the tests, please have fun with them, especially for me. And if not, I am sorry about that. We can hold a pity party together if you want. And if you're just now looking to sign up for them, good luck on getting into future tests. Thanks for watching.